Hey there, Perhacs here, and have this video on law of attraction and this economy. I wrote an article on this the other day and got such favorable response that I wanted to follow up with a video, something that you could use, give you some usable skills that you can take and begin to work immediately. And I think that's what everybody wants. At least when they email me, they want to know more information, how they can get better, so on and so forth. I believe, and I'm going to actually do another video on this, but I believe in the law of reciprocity, which means if I give, I'm going to get. Now, I may give you some information. I may not get it back from you, but I know that I'm going to get back from somewhere, either knowledge, information, money, whatever the case might be. So I'm going to keep giving good information away. And I think you'll agree that it works out. And when you do the same thing, you're going to get the same exact results that I'm getting. So let's get started. All right, what I'm going to do is want to go into a little bit about law of attraction in this economy, because a lot of times, we are getting bombarded daily by the news media talking about how bad things are. And the fact of the matter is they're bad or as good as we make them. Now, obviously, there are factors involved that make it harder to do what we need to do a lot of times, but I want to give you a mental state, a mindset that'll kind of carry you through this situation. And I have a little formula here: belief plus faith times action equals results. Obviously, that's not an equal sign, but you kind of get the point. Let's talk a little bit about belief. What is a belief? A belief is something that you know to be true, which is something that is undeniable. You may have a skill, whatever that skill might be, and you have such a high belief level in that skill that if somebody were to say, can you do said skill, you would be able to do it no problem, no questions asked, and you'd just be able to carry on. Now, the next thing is faith. And the faith is the evidence of things hoped for, not yet seen. That's taken directly from the Bible, by the way. But understanding what faith is, it's the evidence of things hoped for, which means you're hoping for them, but you don't yet see it. So it's faith. A lot of times people will say, I can't bank on faith. But see, faith is one of those spiritual concepts where when you mix belief and faith and you take something in a faithful way, it turns into a belief, that you believe it's going to happen. Now then, times action equals results. Action can be determined by many different things. Action could be your thinking. Action could be physical action as far as attracting something to you. But a lot of times, the action is a mental action. It's you actually taking your mind and setting it on a course that's going to allow you to attract that which you want, whether it's a job, whether it's additional money, whether it's more business, whether it's attracting a spouse, partner, whatever the case might be. This formula works. Now, how is this formula going to work? I'm going to give you a few tips. Number one, you have to come to that belief factor that you are in control, that nobody else is in control of your life, that you are the one in control, good or bad. And once you come to the realization that you are in control, whether it's good or bad, it makes you feel a little bit better than worrying about other things that are going on out there. Now, you may have lost your job, your business may be down, you may be running into a rough patch, but the fact of the matter is you're in control. You have to make that decision that you're in control regardless of what that might be. That's one of the biggest things that I teach, is how to become a controller. It's a mindset. And again, it's not about controlling other people, because that's a very small part of what I'm always talking about. It's talking about you being in control of what you're doing. Now, life can be tough. You need to be tougher. That's the bottom line. And we all go through things that are not easy to deal with, but you have to deal with them. Now, one of the things that you do is you give the problem to your mind to solve. Now, that comes back up into the formula. That's a faith pill. That's a faith power, where you take faith is the evidence of things hoped for but not yet seen. You give it to your mind and you say, okay, I'm going to give this little project to my mind to bring in more business, to get me a job, to do this or that. I'm going to give it to my mind, and the mind will solve it. Somehow, some way, I'm going to get a recognition that it's been solved, that it'll be taken care of. And you believe that it's going to be taken care of. Go back to belief. Dynamic mental entrainment of the positive. I've done some videos on dynamic mental entrainment. Obviously, I have an entire system on dynamic mental entrainment. But the fact of the matter is, what that means is you want to entrain yourself to the positive. You want to remove the negative. And that's really what you have to do when you're using law of attraction. The law of attraction will work, but if you mix your law of attraction and positive of what you want, if you mix it with negative, like for instance, if you say, oh, I want to get a new job, and yet you're watching the news, you're reading newspapers, and you're reading all this negative information about how hard it is to get a job and how bad the job figures are and all this type of thing, guess what? It's counterproductive, because what it does is that you now have a positive force and a negative force going head to head. It doesn't work very well. So you need to dynamic mental entrainment in the positive all the time. You need to have a positive mental attitude diet. I've said this before, and I'll probably say it again because people forget, but you got to reduce the negative and agitation in your life. You cannot use the law of attraction successfully in the positive if you're in a state of agitation. And what is agitation? It means that your energy is agitated. It's buzzing, but in a way that's not right. You're worried. You have worryful thoughts. You don't have belief in faith. You have worry. Oh my God, what's going to happen? You see, and when you have those type of thoughts, when they get into your mind, they will do their job. And what that job is going to be is an agitated state. You can't be in an agitated state. Now, how do you get out of an agitated state? Well, you got to bombard yourself with the positive, this dynamic mental entrainment of the positive. You must do that. You can do that through meditation, subliminal suggestions. There's so many different ways you can do it, but you have to do it. You've got to reduce that negative and agitation. And then the last thing is you need to trust in the process. You need to trust the process like anything that you do. So, for instance, when you have a problem, when you have a challenge, you have something, a goal that you want to take care of. Let's say this law of attraction. You want to attract something. You put the belief and the faith in there. You put the action in. The action, like I said, can be mental. Don't always think that action only has to be a physical manifestation. It can be a mental manifestation where you're actually thinking. If you've read the book Think and Grow Rich, you know how powerful that is. In fact, I encourage you, if you don't have a copy of Think and Grow Rich, go get one now. I mean, you can get them on the internet anywhere. I mean, you can get those books as little as $2. I've seen it on Amazon and different places. Go get the book. If you already have the book, go back and start reading it. And again, get your mind linked up to the attraction process. You are in control. Life can be tough. So what? Just be tougher. Give the problem to your mind to solve. Use that dynamic mental entrainment of the positive to keep your mind sharp. Reduce the negative and agitation, and then trust in the process. And when you do this, you're going to get better results than you ever could imagine. It's all in your power. You are more in control than you could ever imagine. I believe when you take these concepts and techniques and you utilize them, you're going to get amazing results. Thanks for watching and or listening, and have a fantastic day. So long.